The movie begins with a husband and wife secretly hiding a dead body. The girl named Janice is terrified by what has happened, but her husband, Cameron, tries to calm her down by saying it was only an accident. The story then shifts to a beautiful young woman named Colleen, who is standing by the roadside waiting for someone to give her a ride. Soon, Janice and Cameron drive past, and Colleen asks if they can take her with them. They agree, and during the trip, Cameron asks why she is in the area. Colleen explains that she is on her way to surprise her friend for his birthday. However, while talking, she accidentally reveals that her friend has no idea she is coming, making Cameron realize that no one knows where she is. Seeing this as the perfect opportunity, he decides to kidnap her. Later, they stop at a gas station, where Colleen notices a suspicious box after returning from freshening up. Although everything around her feels strange, she chooses to ignore her instincts and continues the journey. As they drive, Cameron tells her that there is a beautiful viewpoint ahead and encourage her to enjoy the scenery with him. Trusting the couple without any suspicion, Colleen agrees to go with them, and they drive her to a remote, isolated location. Once they arrive, Cameron suddenly blindfolds her and forces her head into the same box she had noticed earlier, preventing her from seeing where he is taking her. He then locks her inside the basement of his house, where he repeatedly assaults and mistreats her. Terrified and in tears, Colleen begs to know why he is doing this, but Cameron refuses to answer and continues tormenting her before trapping her inside a wooden box. It soon becomes clear that Cameron is mentally unstable and enjoys controlling his victims. Later, Janice secretly visits Colleen, who desperately pleads to be set free. Although Janice feels sympathy for her, she admits she cannot help because she fears Cameron will kill her if she does. The following day, Cameron brings Colleen some food and basic supplies, but he continues abusing her. Hearing Colleen's cries deeply upsets Janice, so she turns up the volume on her headphones to block out the heartbreaking screams. That night, Janice asks Cameron to promise that he will never harm Colleen in any other way. Cameron agrees, as Janice cannot bear the thought of her husband committing even more terrible acts. Later, he locks Colleen inside a wooden box, attaching an oxygen tube so she can continue breathing while trapped inside. Alone in the darkness, Colleen cries endlessly and thinks about her father, who had warned her not to travel by herself. Regretting that she ignored his advice, she realizes it led to her horrifying situation. Meanwhile, her worried parents report her disappearance to the police. 6 months pass, yet Colleen remains imprisoned in the basement. Around this time, Janice happily tells Cameron that she is pregnant and begs him to release Colleen, fearing that keeping an innocent girl captive will bring harm to their unborn child. However, Cameron refuses, insisting that if Colleen is set free, she will report everything to the police and they will both be arrested. Instead, he comes up with a new plan to frighten her by falsely claiming that he works for a human trafficking organization that sells people into slavery. Cameron continues his deception by telling Colleen that the organization he works for buys and sells slaves. He claims that she now belongs to them and warns that if she ever tries to escape, the group will hunt her down and brutally kill both her and her family. His only goal is to fill her with fear so she will never think about running away. To make the lie even more convincing, he tells her several fake stories and then presents her with a document, saying that signing it will protect her from the organization. Believing his lies, Colleen signs the papers. Cameron then places a chain around her neck, treats her like a slave, and orders her to call him master and Janice ma'am. Whenever he shouts attention, she must immediately stand straight with her hands raised. Eventually, Cameron moves the family to a house in a remote area where no one will suspect anything. More than a year passes, and Janice gives birth to a baby girl. Cameron later takes Colleen out from the box hidden beneath his bed and introduces her to the baby. Seeing a child for the first time in so long fills Colleen with happiness, and she cannot help smiling. Time continues to pass, and 2 years later, the little girl has grown older. Colleen is forced to serve the family, and while handing them food, she accidentally drops a knife. Cameron instantly orders her to stand at attention, and she obeys without hesitation. Even so, he brutally beats her again. Janice watches in pain and begs Cameron to stop, but she is too frightened of him to truly help Colleen. The following day, Cameron once again frightens Colleen by repeating more fabricated stories to keep her under his control. Cameron continues manipulating Colleen by telling her another fake story about a slave who escaped and went to the police for help. According to him, the police officer secretly worked for the same organization, so the girl was captured, and as punishment, her hands, feet, and tongue were cut off. The horrifying story terrifies Colleen, which is exactly what Cameron wants because he plans to take her outside and needs to make sure she never asks anyone for help. Completely convinced by his lies, Colleen continues to trust him. Cameron later takes her to his hometown, where he works cutting wood, and introduces her to 2 men, falsely claiming they are members of the organization. He instructs her not to call him master in front of them, and she quietly agrees. Feeling a rare sense of hope, Colleen asks if she will ever be allowed to return home. Cameron pretends to care, saying that although the organization never trusts its slaves, he will try to help her. His words make Colleen genuinely happy, and she willingly assists him with his work. During the job, Cameron suddenly gets injured and falls to the ground, giving Colleen the perfect opportunity to escape. However, the fear he has planted in her mind is so strong that she cannot bring herself to run away. Instead, they return home, where she carefully treats his wound with a bandage. Seeing this, Janice becomes furious and argues with Cameron. Despite everything, Cameron remains cruel and controlling, and life continues this way for years. For years later, Janice's daughter has grown much older, leaving Colleen shocked as she realizes just how much time has passed. She quietly asks Janice how long she has been trapped in that house. Colleen has completely lost track of time and no longer knows how many years she has been held captive. One day, while Cameron and Janice are away from the house, she is haunted by terrifying nightmares and tearfully asks God why such a terrible fate has fallen upon her when she has done nothing wrong. Panicking, she bangs against the wooden box until it breaks open, allowing her to crawl out. When Cameron and Janice return, Cameron notices the broken box and immediately fears that Colleen has escaped. However, after searching the house, he finds her hiding in the bathroom, trembling with fear. To calm her down, he gives her a religious book and then takes her to spend time with his young daughter, believing it will comfort her. As time goes by, Colleen obediently completes all the household chores before returning to the box on her own each day. Having lost hope of ever being free, she accepts her miserable life with the family, and 7 more years pass. One day, Cameron falsely tells her that the organization has finally allowed her to visit her family, but first she must prove that she can be trusted. He hands her a gun and orders her to shoot herself. Colleen pulls the trigger without hesitation, only to discover that the gun is unloaded. Convinced that she is too frightened to ever escape, Cameron finally takes her to see her family while pretending to be her boyfriend so that no one will become suspicious. Overcome with emotion at seeing her loved ones again, Colleen hides her true feelings and acts as though everything is normal, never revealing the nightmare she has endured or asking anyone for help. During the visit, Colleen's family tells her that she has been missing for 7 years, leaving her shocked because she had completely lost track of time while living in captivity. They spend the evening sharing a meal and enjoying each other's company. Later, Colleen's sister shows her wedding photos and sadly asks when they will see each other again. Colleen quietly replies that she does not know. Sensing that something is deeply wrong, her sister gently tells her that if she is facing any trouble, she can trust her and share everything because she is ready to help. For a brief moment, Colleen gathers the courage to reveal the truth about her nightmare. But before she can say anything, Cameron suddenly arrives with an excuse and quickly takes her away. Meanwhile, Janice grows increasingly disturbed by her husband's actions. Unable to live with the guilt any longer, she leaves the house with their daughter, which sends Cameron into a state of anger and despair. Colleen tries to comfort him, but he lashes out, telling her that he does not need her to act like his wife before locking her inside a room. Left alone, Colleen breaks down in tears. At the same time, Janice, overwhelmed by remorse for everything that has happened, goes to a church where she cries, prays to God for forgiveness, and finally decides to do the right thing. She returns to the house and sets Colleen free from her captivity. Janice finally reveals the horrifying truth to Colleen. She explains that many years earlier, Cameron had kidnapped another young woman, and when the victim refused to stay quiet and kept screaming for help, Cameron killed her. Together, they secretly buried her body, the same body shown at the beginning of the movie. Filled with guilt, Janice admits that she deeply regrets everything she has done and refuses to let Colleen suffer the same fate. She drives Colleen to a bus station and tells her to go home and never look back. Still trapped by years of psychological manipulation, Colleen nervously asks what will happen if the so-called organization finds her. Janice finally tells her the truth. There is no organization at all. Everything Cameron told her about the slave company, the punishments, and the fake stories was nothing more than lies designed to keep her terrified and under his control. Realizing she has been deceived for years, Colleen boards the bus and safely returns to her family, where they embrace each other through tears. Meanwhile, Cameron is left completely alone, having lost both Janice and Colleen. In the end, Janice confesses everything to the police, leading to Cameron's arrest. The film concludes by revealing that this shocking story is based on a true case in which a young woman was held captive inside a box for 7 years before finally regaining her freedom.